On this week's episode of The Smoke Break, we talk with comedian Dennis Cruz about mortality and self-medication. We also talk with musical guest Edward Berneir about motivation and the intersectionality of art. Episodes released on all platforms Monday at 6 p.m.
And welcome to The Smoke Break. We are here every Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m. on Shady Pines Radio, as well as Pretty Dope Xperience Radio. I'm your host, Joel Pal Zane, here with Zoe Schwartz.
Hello.
Taylor Barrett.
What up?
And Dennis Cruz.
Hey, how's it going?
All right, let's do this. Dennis, super excited to have you. You are an extremely funny Portland comic and just a genuinely interesting and kind person. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to make the transition into this next topic as easy as possible, but I don't think there really is any easy way to talk about mortality. I recently went to a celebration, and I feel like, you know, the way that we remember people and the way that we even experience our idea of death can be different. What's been your experience with death?
Well, I've experienced death twice, where I was clinically pronounced dead. Once when I was 4 and once when I was 21.
Okay.
The first one was from an allergy. I have an allergy to nightshade. And I have an allergy to 80% of the fucking world. But I can cuss on here, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of why I talk the way I do. That's kind of why I have the voice I have, was because of the J-tube insertion went wrong and they scarred up some throat tissue, and because I swelled up. And
yeah.
breathe.
I'm sorry that happened, but you do have a badass voice. You know, like I would not trade that. I would not trade that.
The inner world where
yeah,
that guy voice.
Yeah. Well, so when you were 21, I assume that would probably be the closest one that you would like be able to remember, like that happening.
Well, I don't remember a thing, but no, I remember. What happened in that was I was in the military. I was going home. I was waiting to get on the highway at a yield.
Mm-hmm.
Guy hit me doing 60. I
Holy
was dead
shit.
stop. I was in a VW. He was in a 65 Ford Fairlane, which is heavy steel.
Yeah.
His car came into the back seat. I folded in half, and when I sprung back, I cracked my head on his engine block.
Damn.
Fucked up.
That was sitting in my back seat. I was pronounced dead by the EMT, and 12 minutes elapsed before when the EMT said, he's done.
Yeah.
To the time I got up and said, I just want to go home.
Really?
So
did that freak them the fuck out?
Yeah, he was, oh my God. I say this. I read the report after the fact.
Right.
I remember waiting for the fucking car. It only had one fucking headlight, so I'm like, navigating. Is that a motorcycle? Is that a fucking car? And then I'm seeing a little, and then I wake up in a hospital bed, and it's
Jesus.
3 weeks later.
Yeah, 3 weeks
I have
later.
no sensation from my chest area down.
Yeah. Well, that's being
wild,
able to,
Dennis.
yeah. Well, but I mean, coming back from that, like, what's kind of been your experience of like, you know, do you have a greater appreciation for life?
Definitely. No. I mean, I took it as, I just got fucked up. I didn't think of it as, I died. I've never thought of it as, I died. No, that happened.
Yeah.
I apparently was not dead. I might have stopped all physical signs of it, but you can't come back from that shit. Your heart just doesn't magically restart.
Right,
This is a Marvel superhero movie.
It's not.
But
damn it.
All the spider bites are worth nothing.
Yeah.
But I do take away that I could have. There's no reason I shouldn't have. There's no reason I should be here today.
Sure.
And I look at every day as something that I need to experience, and I need to experience the next day, and I need to experience. And I don't make plans though. See, I don't. People go, "Oh, what are you doing in August?" Breathing. Hopefully I'm upright. Hopefully I'm navigating what I need to.
Yeah.
So, would you say it helped you be like more mindful in general, just like being present in the present moment?
Oh yeah.
Like overall.
I also started taking less care of myself and a lot more chances with things.
Oh yeah. So there's like an upside and a downside to knowing.
I was young.
Well,
I was 20. I was in my 20s and recovering from massive injury, still wanting to stay in the military.
Oh yeah, you were in the military at that time.
They were going to kick me out in 6 months unless I walked. And I walked.
That was a good motivator.
And then I went back to work, and they fed me 3 ibuprofen, 700 milligram ibuprofen, 3 of these fuckers every 6 hours.
Jesus, that's a lot.
For a year. And said, make sure you eat before you take these.
Rough on your stomach, dude.
Yeah.
But that was a rehab. And
Yeah.
then I went back and I started my job again. And I got to do a lot of fucked up shit. But it was fun. I was able to experience it.
Yeah. Well, just even having that appreciation for like being around another day to experience things. Like I really like what you said about that.
I think everybody should have that as an expectation.
And
I mean, unless you're going to the mall or school or fucking I don't know, church, and somebody decides, oh, I don't like you, and they pull out their AR-15 or whatever, then appreciate every day. Not that day. That day would suck.
Yeah.
What really stood out to me though was that after that experience, that like you wanted to go back to work. You weren't like I have to go do something else. Like you're just like I want to go do the thing that was like fulfilling me. And
I was poor. I've been poor my whole life.
You weren't making money when you were dead, so
I grew up in what has been considered a little slice of Mexican ghetto. All my neighbors were Mexican. I was the white kid of the block. It didn't matter. I say that in reference to that's the environment I grew up in.
Sure.
I wasn't able to excel. I was held back by my limitations of guardianship, of my limitations of non-parents. All of these things came into play. I was auctioned between relatives to see who was going to get my inheritance from these people who had raised me and were my parents, but were not. They were my grandparents.
So not like a super comfortable like home life. Just in any sense.
You could say that.
I've been on my own since I was about 14. I became an emancipated minor at 14.
Oh, damn.
I worked at a 7-Eleven from the time I was 12. I worked as a cashier on Graveyard at 13 because I could grow fucking facial hair.
Sure.
A full beard at 13?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can't even get a full mustache at 31.
Yeah.
So
I got mine at like 35.
Taylor, what about you? What's been like your experience with like, losing people, losing things?
Well, I wanted to comment on kind of the other side of the coin of mortality because there's a level of like there's a lot of rhetoric that I see that's we're all going to die one day, nothing matters, so why does anything matter? And I see a lot of people kind of take that nihilism and inject positivity into it, and they're like, nothing technically matters, so do whatever makes you happy. Do the thing that is fulfilling for you. Pursue your dreams with the limited time that you have, because technically nothing is ever going to matter technically, but do the things that matter to you. You are allowed to decide what matters to you as a small fleck of the universe. And pursuing that with that positive nihilism, I've seen it kind of grow into stoicism a lot, and I think that's a really beautiful concept too.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's like either way you could see it as like a motivator to either just be like, fuck it doesn't matter what I do, or like it doesn't matter what I do, so I should stop worrying about all the stuff I'm scared of and just do it. I like that better. Yeah.
Do you?
And that doesn't necessarily mean like breaking your mentality to fit this ideal. Well, like I have to be all these things. That could like. That could be as simple as just like doing the things that make you comfortable. You know what I mean? Because there's that endless mind-breaking pursuit of like perfection. I've seen it warp a lot of people to things that they don't want to be, that they become.
He means he's watched it warp me.
No, I do not. I think that you're probably the least warped person I've ever met through successes and trials and tribulations. You stayed very true to yourself, and I respect that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, just the positive nihilism that kind of like is a pipeline to stoicism. I think is a really good way to view the mortality that you do have.
Yeah. Zoe, what about you? Do you feel like mortality is like a positive motivator for you?
I don't know if it's a positive motivator, but I think it's a reality that we all deal with.
Yeah.
But I think for me, I think like our culture likes to pretend like we can control like when we die, and then that's like a way to get us to like jump through all these hoops. But I think like once you realize that none of that shit really matters, then it's kind of like it just kind of expands what that means to you, and sort of like what are you going to do with it. But I think like I don't know if it's a motivator, but I think it's a motivator to like I don't know, just be present. That's like the main thing, I think.
I wanted to ask, would you view your own mortality or experiencing other people's mortality or lack thereof as more of a motivator? Like you're just like, I'm gonna die, or like, or you saw these other people that are like, I want to achieve my dreams.
I don't know. I guess I don't really think about it as a motivation. I think of it as just like, I think of it as like changing my perception, like thinking about death. I think, or the fact that we don't have control over when we die, or really anything that happens to us. I think for me, it's more like, I guess it's a motivator. It's a motivator to be present, and to not worry about the stuff you're scared of, because we could die tomorrow. And I just think like when you get caught up in like a loop of being like sad about something that you don't have control over, or sad because you don't have something that you thought you wanted, or something ended that you thought you wanted. I think like for me, it really makes me think about like the only thing we really have control over is like the way we our perception of things. And like that's the only way you can really enjoy life, is if you try to like perceive things in a way that doesn't make you feel like shit all the time.
Yeah. No,
So
I think that's well, I guess the reason I even like asked the question was just because, it's like I find that death is extremely motivating. It's like I lost a lot of friends when I was young. So it was like realizing that we could be gone in any moment has really like made me take the time to be like, what do I want out of this life? Like if it ends tomorrow, and then I'm getting in that car accident like a couple months ago, like that was another time where it was like, it could have been over like that. Like some people get hit by semis and die. Some people flip their cars and die. I got both and I'm still here. Like, what am I going to do with it?
Like within a couple months too. That was a weird couple months with you in cars. It was like a year, right?
Yeah. I'm getting a truck next. That's
you should get a semi next.
If you get a truck, I'm buying you some of those rubber balls and hanging them on your truck in the middle of the night.
Truck nuts.
Truck nuts. Dennis before.
Well, no. Well, now take all that what you just said and then go to the doctor one day and have him go, well, I think you got about 6 months.
Yeah.
Right.
For 20 years.
Yeah, right. Dennis is like, there's more layers to this experience that I've had, which is, that you've been diagnosed with a...
The reason I moved to Oregon was because of the right to die law.
Really?
Dennis, when was the first, you've had cancer like a bunch of times, right?
Was when they found the lung, and they were going to go, this is terminal, you're not going to make it.
How many times have you been told that?
I lost track after.
So like,
I mean, I now have 4 different types of cancer going on that the lung is dormant. They don't want to say benign because if they say benign, then they have to remove it. I don't want them cutting my chest open.
Yeah,
that's
kind of a hole in there.
Weird.
I use that.
It's interesting.
The oral cancer. The sinus cavity, this is all fabricated. This is all make believe. I can remove parts of my face.
So, is it metal?
I have platinum spikes that hold all my jaw in place.
Really?
Teeth in place. Because they found cancer in my nasal cavity.
Oh yeah, I think we've talked about that.
Right.
But yeah, no, your perception of death is, because we're over here like, oh, how does it, and Dennis is like, well, you guys, we're not done yet. There's more to my story.
Well, and then there's melanoma, and then now I've got it's kind of spread.
Yeah,
well, they think it has spread. But
well, just even having to like face that, like, what do you think it has given you a more of an appreciation for?
Life in general.
Life in general.
Living, just experiencing everything I can.
Yeah. What is it giving you less patience for?
People. People suck. I say that because individually people are great. Individually wonderful. Small groups, people are fucking great. You get them in crowds.
I agree with this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, that's it. I feel the same way about.
I had a friend who once said, "The higher the quantity, the lower the quality," and I was like, "Yo, that's a very
that's raw."
Yeah, I was like, that was a very anti-people sentiment, but I'm very much for it. Well, it's actually in reference to Portland, but
it's not anti-people; it's anti-mob mentality.
Yeah, because we know about groupthink. It's not. It doesn't historically done us a lot of favors.
Anything that involves, and this may be, but it's religion. It's politician. It's politics itself. It's this whole fucking bias against because of whatever. I don't like the way this person look. Well, guess what? You never did. Yeah. So that means you're stupid.
Yeah.
You can't evolve.
Yeah.
Everybody has to understand that everybody else has a right to be here. And they're fighting every second of every day to just exist.
Yeah.
And for somebody to say you don't have that right, I want to end that mentality.
Yeah.
And I've been trained. So
Yeah, but you've also done deprogramming, and that's like that takes more than a lot of people know. Like, you know, having ideas that you may not agree with later that may have served a purpose at a time is a very hard thing to like deconstruct. So the fact that you were able to take that and do that in your lifetime, like and I mean this in the best way, like some older people have no willingness to change their mind about anything,
right,
you know,
because it's the way it's always been.
Yeah,
and guess
exactly.
what? I'm not the way I've always been.
And it sucked back then a lot of the time.
Been the way I've always been.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And for somebody to tell me, oh, you can't do this and you can't do that, in a real fucked up way. My first marriage was because somebody told me I couldn't.
Like, you can't get married, and you're like, watch me.
Just tell her to get an abortion. I told her. Why is she doing it? I don't know.
Well, but
it's
I'm
a
gonna
whole
marry her.
religion thing. Well, fuck her. Well, I already did that.
That's why we're here in the first place.
See step one.
Well, you're gonna ruin it. You're gonna. It's not gonna work. You're gonna have to. You're gonna go and yeah, it didn't work.
But you were like, you gotta find out on your own. That's like how life is.
But you don't challenge me.
Yeah, no, I can relate to that.
And that's the way I look at the doctors. That's the way I look at my diagnosis. That's the way I look at everything. It's like, really, you want to fight me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll decide when I die.
I've been doing this for a little while.
I respect that about you, Dennis. It's like, no, I'm gonna fucking.
What's the dodgeball quote? Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
Yeah, that's Dennis.
All right, well, dope. We're going to take a real quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with the smoke break. We're here every Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m. on Shady Pines Radio, as well as Pretty Dope Xperience Radio. And we are back with the smoke break. We're here every Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m. on Shady Pines Radio, as well as Pretty Dope Xperience Radio. I'm your host, your old pal, Zane, here with Zoe Schwartz.
Hello.
Taylor Barrett.
What's up?
Dennis Cruz. The reason I'm laughing is because I self-medicated and I overshot the last portion and then forgot what I was saying. But self-medication can be effective, not for ADHD, but for other things. Dennis, what has been your experience with self-medicating?
Oh, I practice it. I enjoy it. I recommend it to those who know how to think. A lot of questions come up about chemo. Chemo is designed to stop your body from functioning, to kill your body so that the cancer gets confused.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck cancer.
Yeah.
It's already confused. It's in me.
Yeah.
I don't want it there. Guess what cannabis does? Cannabis cures cancer.
Yeah.
It stops the growth of tumors. I've proven it. With my own experience, science has proven it. It stops the spread of cancer unless you, like I do, drink heavily and then you weaken that part of your body, and all of a sudden cancer goes, oh, let me grab a hold. So now I got to cut back on a lot of
harm reduction.
Okay.
Yeah.
More cannabis, less alcohol.
Yeah, for sure.
And I've had great success with extracts, RSO. I enjoy the fuck out of flower. I grow my own plant. I've cultivated my own strains.
Yeah.
Is that the main way that you've treated your cancer, is with marijuana?
Cannabis.
Yeah, cannabis.
Not it's a bud. I'm gonna smoke this bud.
No, you've done it like all the ways.
You got to eat that shit daily. you gotta
make
drink
smoothies.
the tincture. You gotta eat the RSO. I do right now. I'm on about 50 milligrams of RSO a day, and that's to fight off what I'm doing. Normally, I only do about 10, and that's a daily thing.
Because you just got diagnosed with
and that's a daily thing. And the reason you have to do it daily is because, hey, guess what? Cancer don't fucking quit.
Yeah, cancer's growing every day too. Yeah.
It doesn't
But
take a
you've
weekend.
you've seen like your tumors go like shrink. You think directly.
No, I have multiple scars and I have multiple tumors, and I've seen them with the application of an extract RSO directly to it, and then you shield it from sun. Don't want sun touching melanoma skin.
That's fair.
People say, why do you look pale? It's sunblock. I bathe in that shit. And within a week, if they're small enough, they go away.
Within a week you noticed a difference?
Yeah.
That's great.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
With my tumor, the one that had to be removed from my face, it was 3 inches when it started. They removed it at 1.25 inches. And that was because I was applying cannabis oil to it daily. and
Yeah.
I'm ingesting the shit daily, fighting.
Well,
It's a fun fight because I'm high as fuck.
yeah, no, I imagine. Well, I mean,
you do build up a tolerance, but you still get a buzz.
yeah, well, I think that you can use it to like literally fight off something physically is just like it's such a just a crazy thing that can do, you know. But I think that like it's also really unique that it can help us with like maybe like anxiety and you know, for me
Such a
sometimes
miracle
anger. Taylor, what do you feel like self-medicating has done for you?
Well, self-medicating, obviously, my experiences are, I don't know if it's obvious, but my experiences are with
You look high.
I get that a lot, and I'm like, I'm not even high right now. I don't know what you want me to do. But marijuana has been a good one. I think that a lot of people that use drugs recreationally will accidentally find one. They're like, this feels a lot more like help than fun, and that has happened to me far and few between. You know, like I used very, very rarely, but I would occasionally try pills, and one of them that I came across was Ritalin. And when I took Ritalin, I was like, this doesn't feel like party fun. You know, I was like, this feels like I can just like think kind of clear now. Everything's a little smoother. This is weird.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting that the most common one that happens for like people using recreationally find out it's a little more medicinal is Adderall. I would not recommend someone prescribing me Adderall. That's the opposite of what I need to function.
That is more fun than it is function.
Yeah, if
can't spell function. I'm just
ridiculous.
Well, the interesting thing about pharmaceuticals is they were all originally plant-based up until the 1900s.
Yeah.
When we were inundated with opium from China, and we were inundated with people making mad elixirs from opium and people dying from it. Why? Because, he OD'd. Well, it looked like he was vomiting. Yeah, because he was OD. That's simple. And so they outlawed a lot of drugs, and they outlawed plant-based medicines.
Yeah.
And your pharmaceutical company, Bayer, hey, guess what? They made heroin. Okay, why? Because they wanted a stronger, better opium.
Okay.
Why? Who knows?
Because
I enjoy morphine. Like the next guy. I have been given morphine at blessings in my life.
Sure.
I used to have it on a little pump.
Just on the button.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense. I think the earth makes medicine that we need.
Yeah,
and,
poppies. Flowers, opium.
Yeah.
Right? Cocaine, coca leaves.
Yeah.
The natives sit there and they chew on these leaves.
Yeah, they don't synthesize shit. They just chew on the leaf. They're about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, actually, cocaine requires kerosene and soaking and then extracting in oil. And it's
Dennis, I have a question for you though. Like, do you have a philosophy around like because you know like a lot of people people use drugs to like an excess in a way that like impedes their life in some ways. Like, do you have any theories around like? Do you think that's a manifestation of the culture that we live in that like makes people need to self-medicate beyond a level that's
helpful?
Like when we get numb from it?
I think it's more environmentally based, but I also think there are people that are highly susceptible to addiction.
Yeah.
I am highly susceptible to being addicted.
Yes.
Raise my hand for that one.
Yeah.
To thing. I have a tendency to, this is all there is. This is all I need. This is what I'm getting. And that can be bad.
Meaning like a hyper focus on stuff, kind of? Is that what you meant by that?
Yeah, and well,
like if you have
you could call meth a hyper focus.
I don't do cocaine anymore at all. I only do crack.
Yeah,
because it's more efficient. It's more effective. And that's what I'm saying is you get these things where you go, well, this makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I don't know how those people are getting on with the fentanyl, smoking that shit. That shit is nasty.
Not good.
That's scary.
It's just they see, and a lot of people think they're in pain. Let me tell you, nobody understands pain. Okay, they think, emotional pain. Yeah, ooh, daddy didn't love you. Guess what? My dad, I've never met.
Yeah,
and my brothers knew him. My mother knew him. I never met my brothers until I was 12.
Right.
Yeah.
Didn't meet my
Well,
mom, really.
I think that like trying to medicate for the parts of it that like that you do feel like it's remedying. Like I feel like for me, weed has this tendency to have the ability to make me less anxious and more anxious at the same time.
Yeah,
where it's like it relaxes me, but it also makes me hyper aware. So it's like trying to find like a space where it's helpful but not harmful is like such a difficult thing with self-medicating.
Cannabis has a purpose. If you're talking mental issues, right, where you can't function. I had a buddy of mine. He was sitting there, literally on the edge of suicide.
Mm-hmm.
He was done, and he was on his third divorce, and he wasn't 30 or some kind of shit. He was just stupid. I can say that he's not going to listen to this. But we went to Amsterdam, and he was going to off himself in the diet. I'm like, here, okay, hold on, but eat these first. Just eat these, and then we'll go check out Amsterdam. I've been there before, but
yeah.
And I gave him roughly 4 grams of mushrooms, and he ate those. And what did he do? He fell asleep. Motherfucker fell asleep. 12 hours, fell asleep. And I'm like, you just needed a nap? And I'm sitting there 3 grams in going, I'm going to go see what I see. I took a lot of pictures of shit I don't remember. But after that experience, it altered him. It changed his concept of who he was.
Yeah.
Because whether, I don't believe in dreams because I don't dream in that sense. I mean, I'm sure I do. I just don't ever remember them. And,
right.
But he did. And it altered him because he was able to face some things.
Oh, he had dreams after the mushrooms?
While he was on mushrooms. While he was
he was sleeping. Oh, yeah, he slept for 12 hours.
Crazy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So he had like a 12-hour. Oh, wild.
I am a freakazoid space changing mushroom trip.
Oh, shit. He had a wild mushroom trip.
Altered his concept of who he was, which is literally what he needed.
Like ego death. That whole
because
idea
really,
of ego
really
death.
small doses of DMT are released when you're dreaming. I wonder if that has anything to do with his experience. That would be
probably had a really great time.
Mushrooms.
I mixed everything. Like it's the ultimate hippie flip.
But they help. And that's where I'm saying natural product. I used to get high with a dude in high school. His mother was like, I don't care what you do, just natural. That's all. If it grows, you can eat it. You can smoke it, you can snort it. If it's a plant first.
Yeah.
And mushrooms, what do? You grow them, you pluck them, you dry them.
I feel the same thing about I feel the same way about weed and mushrooms. I'm like, you can't tell me that God didn't want us to do this. It's literally just a dried fucking plant out of the ground. Like, I mean, obviously we've done some things to like,
the big ass mountain that like Moses wrote the 10 Commandments. I think I'm not religiously versed very well, but I'm pretty sure Moses wrote.
Don't
the 10
worry, we're not
Commandments.
judging you.
But whoever the hell wrote the 10 Commandments, it was a big mountain, thunder, God talking to him, right? It was a small hill with naturally reoccurring psychedelic mushrooms.
Oh yeah, no, they're all through history and all through like there's a lot.
Yeah, well,
the 10 Commandments are like love thy neighbor. It's like that makes sense. Someone on mushrooms definitely wrote this.
Yeah.
Well, there are some educators who believe that the manna that the Israelites received in the deserts were mushrooms.
Yeah, no, I think my mom's done a bunch of research about this recently. I read a bunch of stuff, and there's all these like.
When you say mana, do you mean like
that's what they call
your magic points,
like casting spells?
That's what they call it, mana.
But I mean, that's like so they can cast spells like in there.
Oh no,
I'm thinking
with 2 ends.
Okay, sorry.
It was food?
It's a food.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
I played Dungeons and Dragons, so I was like trying to figure that out. I was like, dude, they have spells? Like, how many do they get to cast today? That's
and it
crazy.
was Mount Ararat that he was on. Well, no, that's where they found the ark. Never mind. I'm getting confused.
No, you're all good. You're all good. I appreciate you sharing with us just about your experience with with self-medication in all of its forms, whether it's, using it physically to help, heal what's inside of you, or, Taylor and even myself that have used it to try to, heal what's ailing us inside of our heads. So awesome. Well, we're going to take a real quick commercial break. We'll be right back with a smoke break. We'll be back with the smoke break with Edward Berneir. So hang out for that. All right, now our musical guest, Edward Berneir.
Shout out the smoke break. Let's get it, guys. Hey. Yo. It's gonna take an army of crooked cops to come and get me. I was thinking about quitting, but this shit way too tempting. I need it, I love it. Just fucking let me be great. And I just wanted to be myself. Ain't no need to be fake. And it's the brain in the puppy, not the bark of the bitch. And my P.O. is P.O.'d and I'm trying to repent. So tell me what you expect inside this eensy weensy city. You hating on me right now? Fuck you since the beginning. You weren't there. Say a prayer for your bitch ass this. Cause I'm sauced up, you classless. I'm classic, you bastards. My windows tinted, my life tormented. This weed is scented. Fuck you offended. The devil keep dancing like nobody's watching. Inside of the mirror, but living good in a dungeon. My windows tinted, my life tormented. This weed is scented. Fuck you offended. Cause I can't stop, won't stop. This bad boy will Rockefeller till I catch a record. You in my sector, now I'm looking down my inner scope. I got no limits till I'm on death row. Cause I throw stones and don't hide my hand. When the cops come look for me, then I definitely just got to jam. Music does some strange things, but it's about that bravery. Gotta stay ruthless when the aftermath becomes shady. Need cash money, don't play with me like some fool's gold. Cause the future look kinda odd. Life is really just fucked up, so I need to come out on top, dog. Need God, I can't find a ass in any of these churches. And I'm looking for a purpose. Sometimes I feel kinda worthless. Sometimes kinda wish I was birthless. Cause I can't achieve no perfect. And I know that I cannot be certain why the world's steady burning. Don't let the pain be a burden. Through the flames keep on working, but you gotta keep your heart determined. You wanna die a regular person? Hell no, hell no. My life tormented. This weed is scented. Fuck you offended. The devil keep dancing like nobody's watching. Inside of the mirror, but living good in a dungeon. My windows tinted. My life tormented. This weed is scented. Fuck you offended. The devil keep dancing like nobody's watching. Inside of the mirror, but living good in a dungeon. Hell yeah. It's the first song, that one's called Tormented, self-produced. Hell yeah. Part of the album that I just recently dropped called Lucinda Seed. You can find it anywhere. I try to live in harmony, but the whole wide world wanna bother me. I try to live in harmony, but the whole wide world wanna bother me. Hey, I try to live in harmony, but the whole wide world wanna bother me. I try to live in harmony, but the whole wide world wanna bother me. I try to live in harmony, but the whole wide world wanna bother me. I try to live in harmony, but the whole wide world wanna bother me. I've been accused and labeled shit that I never do. Feeling stuck when I wanna leave what I couldn't move. I had to evolve, be passionate to solve all of my problems with a pursuit of happiness. So I think back, what the fuck was I thinking? What kind of alcoholic beverage was I drinking? I didn't give myself the leverage, so I started sinking to the deep down blue abyss that they call the system. I ain't with it, I ain't with it. I gotta keep my head above the clouds like doves and pigeons. Say it loud when you got a lot of love and rhythm. Pretty proud right now, I ain't dying in a prison. Thank God, so I had to put it on my belly. Life gets sharp like the end of a machete. I'll give you my art when the heart is ready. Love can be deadly, I just wanna go steady while the world wants to be petty like Tom. I've seen chemicals in the air but no bombs. What's the difference if it leads to me being gone? I don't know specifics, I'm just trying to right wrongs in my songs. We just sit back and accept what is given. Accept real love, real knowledge, real religion. And I don't know, I feel pissed off. And you know they feel the same way I'm about to pip. And it's backwards like your name is crisscross. Life is way too fast to find out where you belong. So I'm sitting here writing up a couple poems, hoping that my city and the whole world know. Yeah. I try to live in harmony, but the whole wide world wanna bother me. I try to live in harmony, but the whole wide world wanna bother me. I try to live in harmony, but the whole wide world wanna bother me. I try to live in harmony, but the whole wide world wanna bother me. I try to live in harmony, but the whole wide world wanna bother me. Hallucinations, euthanasia. Seems to me you gotta be your savior. Ain't nobody wanna tie your shit, will hold your hand. I look both ways in situations where I can't. Conversations that were meaningless. I can't believe that I'm seeing this. I don't pray much cause God teasing us, or he believe in us. Just sometimes it feel like he leaving us to fend for ourselves when we are grown. Some people actually tell me I'm not alone, but I don't feel the same. I had to change my ways, but that does not promise me the next day. So I say what I gotta say, fade away, but we made it clay. Dirt like love filled with hate. Water runs under a little faith and a small spark to light the dark behind my face. Just in case you did not understand, you can always take the shell of a man, but you can never take the hell that resonated inside of his lifespan. Complicated problems definitely made me who I am. I'm too proud of a couple of mistakes that I made, so I paint pretty pictures through all the sound waves. That's the idea that I want to engrave, and when I see you know that it was always love that I gave. Hey, I try to live in harmony, but the whole wide world wanna bother me. I try to live in harmony, but the whole wide world wanna bother me. I try to live in harmony, but the whole wide world wanna bother me. No matter where I go, try to live in harmony, but the whole wide world wanna bother me. Try to live in harmony, but the whole wide world wanna bother me. Hell yeah. That one was called The Accused. This one was produced by Minivan Jim. Do not ask how I got this beat. Yeah. Running fast and we running hard till the day that I agree to God. Finish lines on my chest that break apart, same color as the planet Mars. I see checkered flags at the cross street. Checkmate on a checkerboard. My check engine light was on, but I'm pushing the pedal right through the entire floor. More blood, sweat, and tears that I pour. The roars get louder every time I score. Plus coach said squares rely on the backboard. Teacher scared I approach the blackboard. I ain't even athletic or even in academics, but I gotta get it till I get a golden pendant with a 1 on it, S on it, and a T on it. Definitely put my street on. Let me be honest. I'ma ride this beat to the end zone. Third quarter make a call just like a payphone. Hit third base, now on my way home. Pick and roll all day long. Leave my competition inside a pile. Hall of Flames to the Hall of Fame just to make my little old mama smile. Like yeah, pouring up in this bitch, pouring up in this bitch. Pouring up in this bitch, Portland up in this bitch. Pouring up in this bitch, Portland up in this bitch. Pouring up in this bitch, pouring up in this bitch. That is the sacrifice I'm gonna take if it makes my whole planet a much better place. Dead in my bed or a field or a stage, it don't matter, I'm forging my pain. And the people who've been through the same won't leave you. Sometimes I come off a little unequal. Wanna get my people off of the pipes and the needles. Evil, I see you. Even though you are just hard as the artistry, are the streets, heart of the city. We are the arteries, part of me. I just been rambling on, battling my inner demons and all of my songs. These are the entities that kept me strong. Apparitions have been steering me wrong. I appreciate them not fearing what I become. I'ma walk this up right to a throne. We're gonna confiscate that, then bring it home. We're gonna put us on if our leaders are gonna lead us wrong. You can tell that the heat is on. My team is on my side, that's every night. And I'm gonna pray all of my peers watch over me until I see the light. Like pouring up in this bitch, pouring up in this bitch. Pouring up in this bitch, Portland up in this bitch, yeah. Pouring up in this bitch, Portland up in this bitch. Pouring up in this bitch, pouring up in this bitch. Appreciate y'all for stopping by on the smoke break. Zane Thomas, Edward, the crew. Sorry, it's really hot. All right, guys. Whew. That one was called Gold Medal, produced by Miniman Jim. This one is produced by Brooks Beats, another local producer. Shout out. This one's called I Can't Explain It. I hope you've been good, I hope you've been great. Hopefully everything's been okay. But I didn't say what I wanted to say. No, I cannot let you just get away. All of that fake that laid on your face when I fucking came to see if you were safe. Just to kick me out of your place every single day for those 2 years straight. I did you great, supported your love, accepted your faith. Hope that your God didn't get in the way of the world that we could have made. Why do I feel like I'm the nutcase? Most of the days I know that it rains and I can't complain, it doesn't wash the shame. I don't believe I'll ever love the same. Perfect girls are often good at hiding pain. And I know that I have known you for some time, but I don't think that I ever fed you lies. And I know you get down on your knees and pray, but don't you act like I betrayed. I don't wanna ever that I'm not with you to the grave. I was focused on the pay, not the pain. Had to do what I had to do. I'm just saying, you playing with who you lying to. I was there every day. I don't wanna ever I let bygones be bygones, what I'm on. And I seen Python slide on nylon, and they told me I did nothing wrong. The hill I'll probably kill and die on. We are both deceased and we're gone. Be wrong, tell the truth how you really felt all along. We thought I would not have evolved, but did you find it cute that you fool? And I know that I have known you for some time, but I don't think that I ever fed you lies. And I know you get down on your knees and pray, but don't you act like I betrayed. I don't wanna ever hear that I'm not with you to the grave. I was focused on the pay, not the pain. Had to do what I had to do. I'm just saying, you playing with who you lying to. I was there every day. I don't wanna ever hear you fucking say. My name is Edward Berneir. Appreciate y'all for stopping by at the smoke break.
Edward Berneir, everybody. We will be right back after this commercial break.
And we are back with the smoke break. Thank you so much, Edward Berneir. I've been trying to get you on this podcast for a minute.
Been a while.
We did it. And
I'm
now
here,
we actually have a music section, so now it's even cooler.
Yeah, that was fucking exhilarating.
Also, I didn't know you could sing, so now I'm just even more mad you're good at all this other stuff. So
I didn't know either until like probably, I don't know, 6 months. Well, I was in choir when I was a really young kid, but I didn't really pursue it. But a lot of artists nowadays like inspire me, so I was like, fuck it, why not?
No, I actually like started a new song where I'm kind of singing a little bit, and I'm just like, this feels uncomfortable, but it's also something I want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, you get a lot of stuff done. Motivation, that's got to be something that's just incredibly easy for you all the time, at all times, every time.
Absolutely, all times, every time.
Yep, I knew it. it. So what's motivation look like for you?
Motivation is growing up and being, shown many arts as far as movies, music, whether it's old or new, paintings, art really attracted me when I was like really young, even though I kind of put it to the side for a long time. Like the last 5 years, I started kind of taking like oil paintings really serious.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's
Oil's
really
like
dope.
the hardest paint medium, isn't it?
It is, but I mean,
the least forgiving.
If you're very, optimistic, it can actually be pretty dope.
Yeah, no, but it's harder, right? Because
yes.
it takes forever to dry, and you can't like correct stuff.
Well, see, there's things where like acrylic paintings, they dry really fast, so it's like you don't have time to blend tomorrow or the next day. But with oils, it's like clay all the time, and it does take a while to dry, and it is messy and it's hard to get out everything, oil. Oh my God. But I enjoy it because I get to blend like the next day or 2 days later, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
I've noticed that like a lot of artists that incorporate a lot of different elements into their things, like end up like singing on the rap songs and have like a huge bass and other things. Like the first thing that came to mind was like Mac Miller, where he was like in like a metal band when he was younger. Post Malone's another one. He was in a metal band when he was younger. He was all about like classical music and shit. So he was taking all these pieces from things, and it wasn't just like, I like rap, I need to be a rapper. It was, I want to make music, and this ended up being a medium. It's really dope that you have like other artistic mediums too.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's really weird. Not a lot of people know this, but you can actually find things in paintings that you can apply to music, and music with paintings, and it's fucking unreal.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Can you give an example?
Yeah, I was curious.
Also, like when I'm mixing and mastering a song, it's like, oh, there's this one part that's kind of a little too high, like, but I want to keep it, so let's just kind of put it in there subtly, like when you're blending up like the sides of an arm or something like that.
I feel
just a little bit, just
some shading.
Yeah.
Well, it's I think I kind of see like the connection of like the idea that you have to get rid of something completely, or you can find a way to blend it to make it work.
Right, exactly. There's always a way. There's always a way.
No, it's really
the word
cool.
blending definitely made that resonate with me, because that's just something that you have to be good at in music and just like physical art.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's definitely been times where I've been making a song and I'm like, this doesn't work, and I try to take it out, and then somebody, like, I'll be working with somebody, collaborating with somebody, and I'll be like, oh, this doesn't work, let's take it out, and they're like, no, let's EQ it and blend it, and I'm like,
fuck with it a little bit before we throw it out.
That is a good threshold between people that have a good output and people that are just starting, is like the ability to smooth things over. I'm super guilty of that. Just be like, I don't like it, get rid of it, start fresh, and it's a weird specific learning curve.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Zoe, what about you? What's motivation look like in your life?
I forgot we were talking about art. Well, I haven't painted in a while. I don't know. What is motivation?
You used to paint?
Oh.
Yeah, there's some paintings on
Where's
the wall.
the canvas?
Those are yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
About the canvas.
Wow, that's impressive.
Motivation. I don't know. I don't really know what I think about motivation. I struggle with it because I have
You struggle with
ADHD.
it? Okay,
Yeah.
but do you think it's that you don't want to do it, or do you think that it's that like sometimes you don't have the capacity to follow through on it?
No, it's not that I don't want to do it. I want to do it. I feel frustrated that I can't do the things sometimes that I want to do, or that I don't do them when I think I should do them. Or
Yeah.
Do you have trouble kind of like what am I going to paint? Is it more like that?
I honestly haven't painted in a really long time. My art now is comedy, but
I get it.
So it's what am I going to joke about?
yeah, but so I guess, how do you apply that question to comedy? I don't know.
Because I think that I like what you said about there being like kind of a crossover with arts, because that's
Yeah, that
something
was
that I've
cool.
noticed is that like, that there's things that like I learn in this space that I'm like, well, I mean, you can apply that over here if you think about it the right way.
Yeah, and your reach gets longer. You know what I'm saying? You can do so many things. And apply them.
Taylor, what about you? Motivation.
Motivation's been a tricky one for me to navigate because I feel like I have a bad tendency to like overwhelm myself with the absolute big picture, and that can be like just way too much at first. There's a game that I play called RuneScape where like shout out old school RuneScape, but there's a lot of stuff that's like, well, if you want to do this quest, then you have to have this, then you have to do this, so you have to go do this thing, and now and a lot of tasks feel like that when it's like, don't worry about that later. Just do the couple little things that you want to do now. Whatever doors that opens up for you will allow you to kind of pursue the bigger things. Then the really big picture will start to come together a little more effectively when you started chipping away at things, and that's like that's another threshold and a learning curve that I feel like is in most things, and the more things you take on, the more things you're gonna have to figure out that learning.
Well, I think just picking the little things that you can do, you know, that's what helps me stay motivated. Because if I get bogged down with the bigger picture, it seems impossible.
For some reason, I love that in the game though, and I love that in RuneScape. In real life, it stresses me out.
So this is what my friend told me. He's a painter. He kind of like really like took me under his wing and taught me a lot of stuff. Damon Smith, you guys should check him out. Muralist, comic book illustrator. He taught me that when you do a piece, don't go over it in the future. Leave it the way it is. Do your next piece. Do your next piece. Do your next piece. Don't ever go over your old ones, because then you can like look at all. That was you at that moment with your obstacles, and now you got to. Then the new painting's like better. And if you just fucking love what you love to do, like you're gonna get better no matter what. Don't put yourself down. Just push, finish the painting, even if you didn't do the shading. Like, okay, I'm done. I'm cool with that. Be okay with putting it the fuck down.
Yeah, and like knowing when it's done, knowing when it's done, and when you're able to move on to the next thing.
And knowing like what done is for you, because I feel like sometimes we're like, this isn't done if, you know, my favorite artist was working on it, but it might be done for where you're at.
Exactly, and just love that, you know, and just keep pushing, and that should, you know, motivate you. And like I was saying, what really motivates me is just being so open-minded to everything as far as like time and like what can I paint? I could paint a night that's like with a woman or something like that, you know, and I'm just like, okay, I could throw a drag, and as you're doing more pieces, like you'll start adding some more things, and then it like fills in the whole picture, you know. And that's a good way to keep your brain trained, you know, just like keep on.
Well, yeah, I think just like finishing projects, you know, like, and even because like I just started a new song. I said I was like singing in it, and I'm just like, I'm all nervous about it, but it's like at the same time, I'm like, whether or not I actually use this song is not important. Whether or not I finish it is very important.
That's the part, because it's with you. It's all about you trying to put out something for you, you know, and that's the cool part. Like, at least you got it done, you know, and you don't have to show anybody, but you can't. Like this song, the singing song, this is my second time singing this song. First one was like a couple weeks ago, and I was just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go up there and just sing it the best I can. And then, you know, people loved it, they enjoyed it, and it was first it's scared, but dude, I promise you're gonna be okay on the other side. Just do it, do what you got to do.
There was a Jimmy Neutron character that would like, his whole shtick was that he couldn't finish anything, so he would have like a hot dog with a bite left, a puzzle piece with that piece just laying next to it, and he would just like have panic attacks about it. And I feel like
that's a cartoon of me.
Yeah, it's like
I don't want to watch that.
I don't feel like I'm that's not my self-insert. Like but they ended up being my self-insert.
Well, I feel like it's easy to kind of get bogged down with like feeling like you're not completing anything. But I mean, like, as long as you're working on something, like I've seen you put more work into like the screenplay idea that you've been talking about.
So fun too. Like, finding that like there's always reasons where I'll like think of something and be like, no, I don't want to do that because that would mean I have to do this thing. But it's like I like the RuneScape comparison, but it's like this doesn't feel like that. This is like, I like this idea, I'm gonna run with it. I can edit it later, but I need to get this idea down.
Just the base. That's kind of how I have all my beats. Like I produce beats too, so like I won't have the whole beat finished, but it'll be like, this is good enough to where I can show people like, okay, this is what it could sound like. Or if you want to come in, we can switch. You like the sample? All right, let's keep the sample, but we fucking switch it up a little bit.
And then ideas that'll come to you that are now applicable. You're like, now I have something to put that idea onto that it sticks to, instead of this just being a bunch of standalone ideas. It's a cohesive thing. And like one thing we did that we talked about was like, we need to write the beginning and the end and everything else, because we had vague ideas for what that looked like, but the dialogue in between and the events that became catalysts for other events were kind of what the barrier, I guess, usually was with me writing. But like the way we've been going about it has been super helpful, and it's just been a blast.
Fuck yeah. How long have you been writing scripts?
I've been writing scripts for a long time, but this is the first time that I've been like
let's go.
Yeah, that I've been like, with the writing the end and the beginning and being like, let's piece this together. I usually just will like write 3 chapters, then it'll kind of peter off, and then I'll write 3 chapters and it'll peter off, and I have a bunch of those from like middle school to now. But this is one of the times where I'm like, we could just do this. We could like, maybe we could sell this as a show eventually, but that's not. I just want to write the show.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that's something that kind of gets you motivated, is just the act of doing something. With comedy, what motivates you to keep going with that? Because it can be can be painful sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know. Just
comedy sounds hard.
Yeah, it is. It's really hard. Yeah, I think just keeping and going. Yeah, like watching other people, going when you don't feel like going again after you have a shitty set, trying the same jokes again, even though they totally fell flat the first time. Because that's the thing about comedy is that, it's like sometimes something you'll be like, that's trash, and then you'll try it somewhere else and you'll be like, no, it's fucking good. So it's like, it's just, it really exemplifies like the subjectiveness of art, and like how it really, like, every room is different, and it's kind of a trip because it's hard to navigate, because sometimes it feels like, like sometimes I'm like, because I'm such a sensitive person, and it can't be like, I'll have a bad set, and I'm like, that's it. I'm like literally in my head like I'm bad at comedy, and then I'll have a good set, and I'm like, wait, no, I'm not. And it's
the best ever.
Yeah, it's kind of a trip. But I think it's probably it's just a raw art form, because it's
so the response is so immediate.
Well, you have to practice in front of strangers. You have to practice the only way you're going to get a joke is you bring whatever the fuck you just wrote down, which is not a joke yet usually, and then you just say it in front of people until it becomes a joke. Yeah, it's really, it's very vulnerable. So
this joke is in beta.
Yeah, this joke is in beta.
And I think there's a lot of like similarities between, I think you could probably come up with a lot of like ideas similar to what you said about like between music and art. Like same thing with comedy. It's like you'll do a joke one time and then you'll not like it, and then you'll sprinkle a little something, or even you'll have a different tone of voice, or you'll move your body differently. You do an act out, and you can change the whole thing.
So I like that you brought up the extreme differences room to room, because like you can't tell. Speaking from experience, you can't tell a lot of cop jokes in rural Oregon, but you can probably land some cop jokes in downtown.
Yeah, they don't love me at the Oregon coast. It was not my best moment.
Yeah.
It must have been awkward as well.
Yeah, they just were like, we don't want to hear this lady. All these Republicans, like I said, these Republicans don't want to hear about my vagina.
They didn't want to hear from a woman. I think anything after
that's what I mean. And then I'm talking about my body and like my sexuality, and they're like,
being
nah,
comfortable
we're good,
with
lady.
it. They're like,
and then I get uncomfortable, and then it's a bad set. Yeah, and it's like, okay, cool. This is all very relative.
Well, I think comfort has a lot to do with motivation for me. It's like, like, am I in a place that's either like comfortable enough that I feel like I can pursue this, or so uncomfortable that like I feel like it's the thing that's pushing me past wanting to give up.
Yeah, there is a happy medium with the anxiety, kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
I get that too. Like I've been painting for like 5 years. Like, and I'm getting better, but like at the same time, I get those thoughts too. But I'm like, shut up, bro. Get in there. And I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
No, if you
Be your own football coach.
I'm not gonna do anything else with my life. Like I'm gonna do art for the rest till I'm worm food. Like, I'm happy with that. And everybody should find what they love no matter what, because if you're not doing what you love to do, you're denying yourself and everybody else around you, really. And we need art. It doesn't matter if it's bad or good. Like, it's something for us to all feel together.
Yeah.
And I had a friend say something to me that I feel like goes along with that, kind of like that like people aren't better than you, they just have more experience than you. So it's like there's always room.
Techniques. It's all techniques. And that's all it is.
Yeah, and there's always room to get better. So there's no like shame in like wherever you're at in this journey, because that's just the journey.
And I really like what you said about it's all techniques, because that seems like it would be something that was like kind of one of those like those painting parallels where
you're talented,
but at the same time, like some things can seem like really overwhelming because you haven't picked up the right technique yet. Like I want to do crowd work, and that's a technique, and that's something that I have to I don't have that experience. I don't have that technique yet, but once I do, that will be something that I can add to my repertoire.
Right.
Yeah. And I feel like that's like in a music parallel, that would be like freestyling, where that's like
that's how it came up.
First time you do that, probably gonna be rough. You know what I mean? The first time you ever do that, when it's you and 3 buddies in a car and they hit a beat and they're like, all right, let's freestyle.
Yeah,
probably not gonna be very good.
Yeah.
But
who wants to be the best at something like right when they do it? Like, like where's the struggle, man? Where's you get beat up doing art?
I honestly think it did me like a default to get booked as quickly as I did, and then or like it did me in default. Like I agree. Disservice. There we go. Yeah. Like I think you're right. I think being too good initially, because then you don't like push. I think I didn't push myself as hard as I could have at the beginning, because I had like a good little run at the beginning of doing comedy, and then I was nervous as fuck to do open mics. So I think you're right. I think maybe being bad at the beginning is good. It's like part of the natural process.
But don't let your brain, don't let your brain, whoever's listening, don't let your brain trick itself. Like for real, like just know that you're gonna get beat up. love it, enjoy that fucking
part of the
journey.
process.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
bomb.
you got to love the ride.
And that's where the art comes from too, is part of that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think that, like that getting beat up during the process can be like motivating if you let it be,
Absolutely.
It could be
your armor.
Could also be, just be an ass whooping, know? But like,
if you get hit with a big right hook, then you're like, all right, I need to cover my left side a little bit, because now you learn to block a little bit.
I think the thick skin thing, like building a callus around things, I think that's super important for
Brain
me.
muscle,
Well, everybody, but yeah.
But I think it gets diluted into like, well, you need to learn how to like take hits, and like I like the meta. Maybe you need to learn how to dodge or counter or block.
Or the hits don't affect you in the same way.
Yeah. It's not that you have to like put your head down and like power through everything. It's like like learning how to operate and like learning the techniques to operate at a level that you're comfortable with and happy with.
And so you're not, the impact is not as you're like less.
Well, no, I really like that kind of analogy, because it is, so much of like, when you're learning how to fight or whatever, it's just like, you need to learn how to take a hit, it all goes out the window once you take a hit. And it's like, that is very true. But like, learning how to fucking dodge would be also valuable.
Probably better than taking a hit.
Probably better.
It should be like, you're gonna get hit, practice techniques not to.
Try to get hit less.
Yes.
Yeah.
And eventually you'll find a window to start throwing punches.
Yeah, exactly.
You
When you're
kicking
ass.
That's like offense and defense. Like that makes me think about it.
Well, that's part of like in a writing sense. That's like the hero's journey. Is like the main character usually starts out in a spot that they're comfortable in, and then the adversity comes from going to a spot that they're uncomfortable in and very inexperienced, and they have to like go through that experience to thrive in that, and then return to the spot that they were comfortable in with that new experience. And that's the technical hero's journey.
I feel like that's like a joke format kind of too, maybe a little bit.
That kind of leads into a lot of different writing techniques. That is like the simplest like writing 101 like hero's journey. So a lot of stories will follow, even if it's not a main character type of thing, a lot of stories will follow the format of like
they're comfortable. Now they're uncomfortable.
Exactly.
They got comfortable in the discomfort.
Something about that is like satisfying to our
the overcoming adversity of it, I think is the beauty of it.
Well, yeah, because that makes sense to me too, like in the sense of anxiety, because it shows you like the shit that's scary. It's like watching someone else go through something scary and then survive it. Yeah. It's like sort of like completing the loop where you're like, okay, I can survive this thing and then I'll not be as scared next time.
That's why a lot of fantasy writers default to a dragon, because it's this insurmountable thing that can kill you by breathing fire. And it's like, how do I survive this? Maybe I need to write the right shield or this technique or the smooth talk or whatever.
It's the only way I can defeat it.
It's that lineage of storytelling is bled into a lot of different things, and it's cool to see.
And it's experience, like don't be afraid, just jump in. No, it doesn't matter what it is. Like if it drives your heart, just don't tiptoe, drowned in it, and that's how you get good really fast.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah, that's solid advice. All right, well, that has been the Smoke Break. We're here every Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m. on Shady Pines Radio, as well as Pretty Dope Xperience Radio. I've been your host, your old pal Zane, here with Zoe Schwartz.
Thanks for being here.
Taylor Barrett.
Thanks, everybody.
And Edward Berneir.
Hey,
later, players.
More art.